Hey guys, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here we are with day 3 of Baltimore Comic Con. I'm getting ready to go in a little bit early, but I'm going to get in line. I don't have a lot planned today other than diving through boxes, and maybe I'll actually buy something today. I've got a list. I went through it last night after I got home. I went through. I've got some gems that are picked out, and we'll see if I can find anything else. I'll pick up any of the ones that are already on my list. I've got at least one artist I want to stop by, but I will show you that tonight once I get finished with the show, get home, do some fitting, do some editing, and I will film all of that. But we'll get that out to you later on, and I will definitely try to show you some more of the show floor today. I'll do the best I can. So yesterday I wasn't able to do as much shooting as I'd like, but today let's see if I can do any better. So guys, stay tuned and enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
12 back. So I went all the way through. And then I got real lucky, and about a third of mine I went through hunting.
Okay guys, that is it. I am heading now. We just finished up at the Baltimore Comic Con and I did a lot more shooting today. I've got lots of video. I hope you guys, you will have just seen everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get the books out, and following up this, we'll do a show and tell. I'll show you all the books that I ended up picking up today. I finally bought some comic books and I got some bangers in here. Got some good deals, maybe not great deals, but I got some good deals. And I met one of my objectives. I had 4 books on my list. I think I've got all 4 of them, but I'm so tired right now that I'm not sure if I actually got all 4 of them, but I think I did. So I'm excited about that. And anyway, stay tuned for a little bit, and we'll load up the video, and I'll show you the whole books, all the books at the home once I get there. So, guys, I hope you enjoy this. This is day 3 of Baltimore Comic Con. This is a wrap on this. Take care, guys. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed all that footage I shot today. I ended up doing a little bit of buying, and once I kind of stopped, I decided, okay, I'm going to walk around the show. I'm going to film a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit sporadic. It's not really planned. It really is me just walking around the show a little bit, showing you some of the artists, some of the dealers, some of the artists that in the the artist alley, things like that. And I just wanted you guys to get a little sampling of the show, and I apologize for day 2 especially because I didn't shoot hardly any video at all, and I didn't have a lot of books to show off last night because most of them ended up going to CGC after I got Frank Miller to sign those books. But let's just start off with, well, there's the program right there. So let's, oops, I'm making a mess. Let's start off with a little bit left over from yesterday. So at the Frank Miller signing, one of the things you got with the package is you did get a print. And this is a 12 by 18 print by Frank Miller. Now, unfortunately, it's not signed. You could have gotten it signed, but it would have cost you one of your tickets. And I got the gold package, which gave you 4 autograph tickets. Now, I bought that a year ago for last year's show, and Frank Miller canceled, and as a way to say, hey guys, if you just roll over your tickets till this year, he'll be back, we'll give you an extra autograph. And I'm like, oh, absolutely, that's fine, no problem at all. I'll take 5 autographs instead of 4 for the same price. But last year, what they ended up doing was giving you the print from last year, which was a Batman, a Dark Knight Batman from Frank Miller, that much more stylish than this one. I like it a lot better. But what was best about it was signed. So we got a Frank Miller autograph last year too. But I didn't get this print signed. This was a little bit later, some of the later Dark Knights, and I really wasn't a fan of where the style had went at this point. But it's still very nice. So there, we have a print. And then the only other things I ended up getting signed here on day 3 was I ended up finishing up this book right here. I ended up getting Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. That's what a lot of names there. And it's a little faint. It's up here, right up here. And again, we're running into this thing where artists have their marker pens and they don't really test them out. They just start scribbling on stuff. And I'm going to try to become more cognizant of getting them to use my pen because I know it works. I'm sitting there for an hour getting it prepped. I know it's going to work. And I'll put this a little bit closer. The camera's not picking it up at all. It actually isn't quite as light as that camera's making out, but it's definitely up there. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, honestly, I've got a Walt Simonson autograph that he signed in black down here at the bottom that you can hardly see at all. So this actually in person looks pretty good. So I've got that signed. I have to show this off without the window bag cut like this, so you can see some of the autographs I've got on there. And then the only other thing I ended up getting signed today was from, I believe her name was Chrissy Zullo. She did the variant cover to it. This is Spider-Man #1. It is a homage to Ultimate Fallout #4. It is a New York Comic Con Comic Mint exclusive. And I picked this up from Erod 212 on Whatnot several weeks ago. It was one of those things. I had kind of gotten into some of the exclusives that New York Comic Con had put out. And this one wasn't terribly expensive, but yeah, I don't know. It it's one of those things. This isn't normally my style of art or anything, but I kind of had a little bit of FOMO, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'll just go ahead and pick this up. I didn't think anything about it, and she ended up being here at Baltimore Comic Con, so I decided to go ahead and get it signed. I'll move it forward a little bit. Let's see if I can get it out of the light. Okay, it's up there. You see her signature right up here at the top. That's very nice, actually. It's one of those things, I don't even know if it was worth getting graded. I didn't go through any of the CGC witnesses on the floor this time like I did down in Charlotte. I ended up doing strictly 2 signings with Jim Lee and Frank Miller, that the facilitator was the ones that were handling the CGC process, not CGC themselves. So in this case, I would have had to go over and get a witness, bring it back, and go ahead and get it graded. I didn't know if I even wanted this graded, to be honest with you. So I just saved it. If I ever want to get it graded, I'll just send it to CBCS. I have no problem with CBCS doing authenticated autographs, getting them graded from them for that reason. That's about the only reason I'll use CBCS in that case. So I'll give them all the props in the world because, well, that's really the only option. All right, so we ended up finally getting a chance to start going around the show floor and really starting to buy things. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, day 2, I talked a lot about going around, finally getting a chance to look at things. I had my hands on a Hulk 181 that I was contemplating. It was really nice, but I couldn't work out a deal with the dealer. It just was too much of a give on my side to get that book. And the books I would be giving up, they're really good books. I mean, they're not Hulk 181, but they are really good books. And I just felt like I was giving up the whole town, not just the cow, or farm, or however, whatever that phrase is. So I sat down last night and I went through, let's see if I've got it here. No, I don't have it here. That's too far away. I had a map of the room and I marked down, I went through the dealers that I went to visit yesterday, checking out for the books that I was basically looking to get. And I wasn't prepared to buy anything yesterday. And in fact, you saw it if you watched the video, I didn't buy anything. And part of that was here was this list. I literally went down and I made a list of each one of the places I stopped, put them on the map, and I wrote down the books I was basically interested in and the prices. And what I had to do was a little bit of research last night to say that, maybe buying it at this price, and I was going to work a deal no matter what with any of these. I wasn't going to straight up just buy them for that price. I'd try to work a deal. What I had to do was I had to go do a little research, market research, find out fair market values at different grading levels. Now, you guys know I do this stuff all the time. Every show I go to, I have a list of books, and I've already broken it down. What's the fair market value for that book at that grade, if it grades out to a 9.8, all the way down to an 0.2 in some cases. And 0.5. Some of them. I don't have any actually go down that far. But so my point is, if I know what the going market rate, fair market value for a slab grade at a certain grade, I can know how much money I feel comfortable buying that item for. So I kind of went through, I put it on a price, I figured, okay, after I'm done with the 1 or 2 signings this morning, I'll start going around. And that's kind of what I did at this point. I started going around, and to my surprise, I got off track real quick because a couple of these are really good, because some of them were stores I had went to, shops, booths I'd went to earlier that I hadn't really marked down what books I was interested in. And I told myself, hey, let's go back and revisit them just in case there's something else there that wasn't on the list already. And the truth was, there were definitely some books, definitely some X-Men, John Byrne books. I'm looking at the list here, and I found one dealer that had an X-Men. I wrote it down here. It was a 114. No, wait, which one was it? No, I wrote it down someplace here, but I wrote them down, and I'm going, okay, these are both really good grades. I think I can get the price down a little bit more. I was about ready to pull the trigger, but the fact is, both books I've already got. I've already got the one, it was X-Men 113, and I said, well, I'm not going to get this at this price.
Do I need to get it? Because I've already got my 9.6 and I'm very happy with that. Now, if I'm looking at it and I think it was a 9.8, that's a different story. That's something I could look to maybe grade and sell. But, and the other one was 142, I believe, X-Men 142. I don't need either one of those. I've got extra copies right now that I'm getting ready to press and send out. I don't need extra copies of those at that point. So I wrote them down. I figured I'd come back later. Well, eventually I ended up going to one of the people on my list here, and let's just start with this. I'll start with him. This was, his name is, it's Mark Brooks. I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce it. Mark Scott Comics. I knew I was going to say, I don't know why I'm saying Mark Brooks, but Mark Scott Comics, and somewhere is his business card, and I literally put it into the bag when he gave it, because he doesn't have much of an online presence. So I don't know, I'm going to give you guys a shout out if you're watching the video, but I'm going to try to find your all's information and give you all another shout out and a little bit of a push. Hopefully you'll get a better online presence and you get people buying from you after the show, because you guys had really good books. The prices, some of them are a little high, a little bit low, but you negotiated well. I mean, that was fun. I really appreciated that. And so let's just go through some of the books I picked up. And we'll also talk about the 4 books that I specifically was targeting during the show. And when I get to one of those, I'll point it out. All right, so I picked up another copy of Captain America #6. After I sold my original copy that I cleaned and pressed, I got a 9.6 on it, and I wasn't satisfied. So since then, I've picked up 2 different copies of this book right here. I'm shooting to try to get a 9.8 on that. I was able to also pick up a really nice copy of X-Men 114. Now this was on the list. It wasn't the top of the list, but for my John Byrne X-Men run that I'm trying to get the 9.6s on, I needed 114. And this is the first issue that has the words "The Uncanny" at the top. And I always love this issue. What a great cover here. And I love the story. I love all these John Byrne books. I actually love these. So I haven't gotten this one. I don't even think I've got one out to be pressed or cleaned. So this is my only copy to get graded at this point. So it was really sharp. I got that. I picked up 2 really nice copies of this. This is Marvel 2-in-1, number 54. This is the Deathlock issue. This is because it's the first appearance of the Grapplers and the first appearance of Screaming Mimi, who becomes Songbird, and I want to say it's the first appearance of the first Titania. And it's not the one that you see in the She-Hulk show. She's a professional wrestler. It's not the one from Secret Wars either. But so there's some first appearance significance on there, and also you've got one of these fantastic George Perez covers, and then an interior by John Byrne, and maybe it was Terry Alston too, I'm not sure. So I picked up 2 really good copies of this. I mean, really good copies of this. I've gotten this before. I've gotten a 9.4 on one and a 9.6 on the other. If I didn't think these could be at least a 9.6, I wouldn't have got them. So I'm pretty stoked about both of those. And then I picked up this here. This is Fantasy Masterpieces number 4. And this is a reprint series now in the 1970s, I believe. Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see if I can see a date on here. Yeah, 1979. And it's reprinting the original Silver Surfer run. And I can't really, if I could afford, if I really put all my eggs in one basket, to get Silver Surfer number 4 with this great John Buscema cover. But I really like this. And surprisingly, this book, if you can pull a 9.8 on one of this, and this is also a square bound book as well, if you can get a 9.8 on this, some of the information I was looking up was this could be upwards of a $600 graded comic book. And I took a look at this, and I'm going, that square bound binding on here, everything, it looks really sharp. So I'm hoping that I don't have a lot of work to do on something like this to maybe get it bumped up. Now, this was not on my list, per se. it's been on my radar. In fact, issue number 3 and number 4 both are been on my radar. Well, number 1 as well, but it was one of those things that just kind of popped up, and with the bundling I put together with all the books in this last one, I felt like it was worth go ahead and getting. Now, the last book is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns number 2. And this right here, I looked at it yesterday. It's really good. It's one of those that the defects on the back are minute, and I don't know. It's one of those I may have to. I hope to be able to. I'm trying to get a 9/8. This is the first of the books I was talking about that I'm looking for. The 4 books during this whole trip I was looking for. I'm working on a 9/8 series on all of these. I don't need. Oh, The Dark Knight Returns. I only need issue number 2 to get the full 9.8. So this was one of the books from the show. I had looked at this yesterday. I figured if I go back, I'm going to bundle. I'll pick it up. I knew where it was in the boxes. Let's go ahead and bundle it, and we'll put it together and go ahead and get it and take another shot on goal with Batman: Dark Knight Returns number 2 there. All right, that was from. Again, I keep wanting to go Mark Brooks. Mark Scott Comics. And they were somebody that, as I said, they were actually at the very top of my list right here when I went through and was marking down stuff from yesterday. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. All right, so my other con that I talk about going to is Heroes Aren't Hard to Find down in Charlotte, North Carolina. But they also have a store down there. In fact, it's the store, and then they do the Comic Con. And I ended up going there, and not only did I find another, probably maybe even a better copy of Dark Knight Returns number 2 that we just talked about, I found the second book on my list, which is Batman Year 1, Part 4. This is issue number 407 of Batman. And I've got 9/8s on the other 3 issues, but I can't pull a 9/8 on this one. And I found a lot of these books, 407 at the show, a lot of them. And I couldn't find a single one without defects until I ran into this one right here. And even the ones with defects, and when I talk defects, right off the bat, it's just this color-breaking spine tick. I can't find it without that at the show. And ones with it on there were having higher price tags than they're seeing here. Now, again, I bundled everything together to get a little bit of better for deal. So I don't know what I ended up paying exactly, but wasn't what the prices you're going to see in here. It's not exactly what I paid. And then the last thing I picked up, and I wasn't expecting to get this, but it's not the first time that I've picked up this book, but the condition of this book is spanking. It is awesome. This is Captain Marvel number 33, the last issue from that original Jim Starlin run with Thanos in Captain Marvel. And I've picked this up before in a little bit lesser grade. In fact, I think I might even have it at CGC right now. Now, I paid a lot less for that issue with the chance of bumping it up a little bit, but this is a book that's already in really top shape that I'm hoping to really just smooth it out a little bit. Maybe, once I smooth it out, get these corners appear a little bit sharper, take out any unevenness on the cover. But right now, it looks like a real good candidate to get a high grade once I get it graded. So that was from Heroes Are Hard to Find. So I was very happy about those. So we got 2 books off the list at this point. All right, let's see. Okay, so locally, there were a bunch of our local dealers there, and one of them was from Iron Comics, and Carl there. We talk every show I go to. He has a more modern variant type of wall behind him with books that are very new and everything. But if you go into his boxes, he can have prices on them. Sometimes it'll be just $10 books, but a lot of times he'll have price tags on there, and he'll have a little coding system, so it will tell him what he felt like was the condition. Because there's times when I'll pick up 2 books, 2 issues, 2 copies of the same book, and the markings will be a little bit different. So we've talked about how he determines what a better or worse, I guess. And I stopped by, and I was thumbing through the boxes, and I was talking to him, and all of a sudden I'm starting to find, like, It's like I should have probably spent a little bit more time at the show going through these boxes because he's got some gems in there. So let's just go through it. We've got here, I picked up a copy of Avengers #2. This is that Kang Alex Ross cover with all the variations of Kang throughout time back here. And I think I've got this, but I just have not been able to find it. I picked up another copy of Secret Invasion #1, and this right here, I sold my original that I got a 9.8 on, and here I go again, picking up additional copies of books I've already bought. There's no spine ticks on this, so hopefully the rest of the book will look pretty good. Now this is a book I've been looking at a little bit, but this is Superboy and Superman from DC Comics Presents. This is issue number 87. This is the first appearance of Superboy Prime. So got a little bit of value in that. The book looks really nice over here in the spine. I'm hoping to press and grade this out and get this graded at a super high grade. It's got some value to it. I shouldn't have to keep saying it, but that's what I do. Some of these I will end up keeping, but in the majority of these things like this right here, I don't need this for my PC, but I can definitely I can add value to books like this right here. And continuing with the theme that we started a few minutes ago, I picked up 2 more copies of that Fantastic Four Fantasy Masterpieces #4, the reprinting of Silver Surfer #4. And again, both of these are really, the spines are just spectacular on this. And both of them look like, especially in the white areas at the bottom, are going to need a little bit of cleaning. And yeah, I'm taking a shot at it. In fact, everything I've bought, I think I bought more issues of this than I did anything else during the show. It's kind of weird. And then I bought this. I don't know which book this is, to be honest with you, but I know it's the David Nakayama Wolverine, X-23 cover. And I know this book has been hot off and on. Well, I shouldn't say mostly on. It's a very popular cover. And of all of these character covers and these color covers that he's done, there's some of them I like, there's some of them I don't like, but there are a few that I just absolutely love. And I absolutely love this cover. And I love the Daredevil #29. He did 2 variations on that. One with Elektra and one as Elektra as Daredevil. And they're mirror images. They're leaping in opposite directions. And when I saw these, I'm like, I didn't even look it up. I know that they've been pretty hot. And I know if you can get them graded, they come back and a lot of value added. A lot of value. And both of the spines on this are just really good. So, kind of taking a shot. I went off the highway on this one, guys. This wasn't on my list. This was I've seen it, but I haven't really thought about it. I think I've seen it at higher prices too. But we're going to take a shot on that, and we'll get that into the press if it needs it at all, and then we'll get it out to CGC eventually. But shout out to Gary. I've got a little bit of footage in all the scenes that you saw before this right here. So you'll see his wall, some of his books in there. You'll see the logo up at the top, and you'll see the wall of books that he has there at the show. All right, what's next? Okay, this is from a company, and I don't know. I don't know exactly where in Connecticut, but they're out of Connecticut. It's called J&S Collectibles, and they had a really nice mixture of really good books, Marvel, DC, Golden Age, higher grade books, and then a really good selection of graded books on top of that. And I started going through there. It was getting late in the day at this point. Maybe by this point it's already around that 3 o'clock mark, and I'm really getting worried that I'm running out of time to see everybody I want to see. Plus, I still wanted to go to Artist Alley. And you've seen the footage of that. I did that at the last hour of the day. I literally walked through Artist Alley, see if there was anything that really piqued my interest. I told myself last year I wasn't going to wait to the last minute, but I ended up finding this a book. No, I take it back. It was almost one of the books on my list, but it's still a really nice copy. This is Spider-Man 293, part of that Kraven's Last Hunt the book that's on my list is $2.94, but I'm not going to walk away from a reasonably priced, a very reasonably priced $2.93 that is spine tick free with the potential of getting a 9.8, because that book is still really valuable. So I ended up picking that up, and I was looking around, and he had broken down into a lot of the more common books, and then on the next side over from his little entryway into his booth, there was some other books, and it was a lot less, but they were higher grade books. And so I ended up finding this right here, X-Men 113. Now, I said I didn't need this, but I found this, and I felt like even with the price, if I even didn't get a discount, this right here was going to be this is a super high grade with outside shot, maybe at a 9.8, but I know that this issue has issues at the top up here. It has like a printer tearing of the top. I've seen it multiple times up here where it's a little rip sometimes. And this one right here, yeah, it's up there. We'll see how bad CGC grades it. If I end up with a lower grade, I'll end up selling it at some point, but it was so sharp and at the price, I just didn't want to pass it up. And then I picked up, for the first time I've ever owned this is issue 108. And this is the first issue, I believe, with John Byrne. And it looks a little rough, and it looks like it could use a little bit of a cleaning. But it didn't look like it had much in the terms of spine creases and things like that. And I felt like this is a candidate for actually a cleaning and then a press. So, and I wanted to get this into, I've been working on the John Byrne run, so this is a book right here. It's the first time I've ventured onto 108, so I felt like it was pretty good. Plus, I was looking to bundle this to get the price overall down. And then I picked up a book that I've been wanting to get graded, more for just the nostalgia than anything. It's Shogun Warriors #1. Hang on, monitor going off. There you go. And again, I just added this on to bump up the discount I could get overall. And plus I've been wanting to get a Shogun Warriors graded like this. This is to me like it should be right up there with Micronauts and getting them great Thundercats and He-Man and everything. I don't know. I love Shogun Warriors. I love that. So that right there was from J&S Comics. Some really nice higher grade books overall. So thank you guys. I don't know if I shot video at your shop or not. So if I didn't, I apologize, but I'm definitely giving you a shout out because of the books that you had here. All right. Almost done with the haul. Now, this right here is from Absolute Comics and Statues, and I don't know where they're out of. They've got an online presence. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll try to do that so they can come and check out your stuff. They had an even better selection of top grade books and then wall books. Just absolutely graded gems. In fact, I had talked to them yesterday about the Hulk 181. Actually, I talked to both of them and J&S about the Hulk 181s that they had on the wall. I ended up passing on the deals mostly because I just wanted to make sure that the value of what I was going to trade up to that was up to snuff. I just felt like I was giving up too much. And I don't blame them for that. I do the same thing. Because, they need to make a profit when they buy stuff. But then, on the other hand, so do I. I need to make sure I keep the value of the stuff that I'm selling. So, anyway, long story longer, I ended up going back to their booth, and I realized I hadn't gone through their boxes. And what did I find? The one I was just talking about, $2.94. Now, I've found several copies of this in the room, and every one of them has got at least one spine tick around this black area right up here in this area. And every one of them, every one I found all weekend had that problem. And this, as I said, this was the next issue. This was the third issue that I was looking for at the show. And I'm happy to say I've ended up finding one that looks really good. I'm excited about this one. I don't have all 9/8 on the Craven's Last Hunt yet, but I've got at least half of them, and this one I keep shooting at, and I keep getting 9/6s. So, again, take another shot. Let's get that 9/8. And then I picked up this. This is Batman Dark Victory #1. This is the one of the Tim Sale series and everything. And the only reason I picked this up is that my buddy at Jim at Battlefield Comics, who set up at the show, and a shout out to you, Jim, if you're watching the video. It's great seeing you, and thank you for letting me spend time in your booth and chilling for a little bit, especially today on Sunday. You had this on the wall. We talked about this book, and we talked about cleaning and pressing the copy that he had. He's got this this streak. It's not a color rub. It's like a streak in the gloss or something, and he cannot get it out. And it's one of those, maybe we have some time together, maybe we work on it and see what happens. But it's funny that I found this book in a bin at at another dealer, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and pick that up and see if it has any of the same defects or anything. You know, I can practice on it before I help him, I guess. I don't know. So that's what I ended up getting from Absolute Comics and Statues. So thank you guys. So now we're down to, we've gotten three of the 4 books that I was looking for. But after this, I ended up going to Artist Alley. You've seen all the footage, me walking through, showing you some of the stuff there, and my adrenaline is going down, 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 down like this, and I'm dropping, and every step I take, I feel like I'm just about ready to fall over. And I realize what's happening is I'm carrying my book bag on my shoulder, and every time I keep buying books, it keeps getting heavier. And it's not super heavy, but you put that on your shoulder all day. My shoulder is sore. So, finished Artist Alley. I started to come back up, and the way the show was set up, in the middle of the room was the tables and displays for Cards, Comics, and Collectibles out of Reisterstown, Maryland. They are the host of the show, so they get to put their booth exactly where they want to put it. And the way they did it was, when you come into the main doors, if you go down the main aisle, you run into their booth. I mean, you go down, it's a very wide aisle. You go down, and they've got it's a perpendicular setup. So when you run down, that aisle literally runs you right into their booth. And it spans, it's so wide, it actually goes over across 2 different sets of rows. And you can't, so when I'm walking back from Artist Alley, the way I was going, I literally was going to run right into it. I'd have to detour around it. And I'm going, okay. So I just went up, and I'm looking on essentially what's the back of their stands, and they had great books on both sides. And they had some X-Men on that side that I still look at John, even if I've got them, just like at 113, if it's a really good condition at a good price, I may still pick it up. But I will go up, and they had one of my favorite issues, X-Men 213, sitting there. I almost took a copy of that and had Alan Davis signed during the show, but I passed on it just because I'd gotten Alan Davis, and I didn't know what I was going to do with that comic at this point. I wasn't going to get it graded, and was I going to hold on to it at some point to get Chris Claremont? I don't know. I didn't feel like it. But I'm always looking for that book at shows, if I can find it at a good price, because I can't get my 9/8 on that to save my life. So I came up, and mostly because it's on carpet. Their booth is the only one that really was on carpet. And I'm standing there, and one of their salespeople is helping me, and I ask him, hey, can I take a look at it? And we're chit-chatting about how tired we all are. And he gives me the book, and he asks me, do you want me to take it out? And I immediately, you can see the spine tick right on the front. And I said, I appreciate that, but I don't even have to look at the back, because the front already has one that's going to knock it down. And we're just chit-chatting and talking and everything. And sitting right in front of me, there were 2 copies of the Watchmen #1. And no more suspense. I ended up getting both of them. And this is the 4th book that I set out to get during Baltimore Comic Con this year. I'm not working on a 9/8 series necessarily on the 12 issues on this, although I've done pretty good. I've gotten at least 4 to 5 different issues as 9/8, but just not #1. And honestly, I'm not really concerned about doing that whole run. But I've set it out as a goal to get this as a 9.8. Secondarily, there is a Dave Stevens signing with CBCS that's coming up real quick, and I got to get these out too. And I wanted to get, this is what I want to get signed. So not only was I looking for a great copy that's a 9.8 candidate, I'm also looking for a candidate that is going to be signed, and I may do a remark on there too. And it works both ways. I'm trying to get the grade and get this out quickly. So took a look at the books, and the fronts look really good. The spine, start with the spines over here with this black spine on both of them, and they're pretty much pretty good, right? I mean, when I say pretty good, that means I don't see anything. And I asked him, I said, do you mind taking them out? And he takes them out, both of them, and he turns them over, and I'm looking at this, and I don't see any rub. I don't see any spine ticks. What I do see is some creasing. Not color breaking, no. And I'm going, are you kidding me? I'm 10 minutes away from walking out of this show. I've been looking for, this is one of the four, these books, the whole show. I pulled every Watchmen #1 down from everybody's wall that I saw at the show. Every one of them went from kind of bad to a little bad, with spine ticks and creases and everything like that. And I come back to books that I've actually probably held in my hands as I've been up at their shop over the years, over this last year even. I probably had these and picked them up at one point. And I ended up taking both of them because I didn't want to take a chance that when they have their big Thanksgiving sale that they're still going to be there and I could get a discount. But the truth of the matter is I need to get them now because of the Dave Gibbons. Did I say Stevens earlier? That's really weird. The Dave Gibbons signing, and that's coming up, as I said, really, really quick. So that's it. That's everything that I picked up today at day 3 of Baltimore Comic Con. I apologize for this long video, but I wanted to get it out. I hope you enjoy all the footage that I did. This is going to be a super long video. I hope you guys stick by and watch everything. Thank you guys for the support. To everybody who I met at the show and can watch the channel, and everybody that watches the channel and I ran into, it was great seeing you and it's great meeting you. So thank you for your support, and I encourage you to ask your friends to join the channel, and hopefully we'll keep growing this channel, and we'll do something with it someday. I don't know. Well, right now we'll just have fun. We'll talk about comic books. So anyway, guys, I'm about ready to crash. You guys take care, and I will see you for the next show. Bye-bye.